Why did you decide to create Street League Skateboarding?
It's simple, you know. It's skateboarding is one of the most amazing sports in the world, right? It is driven by progression. It is limitless by design, right? There is nothing else in the world like it. There's no other sport in the world that will relentlessly evolve and progress, because all other sports are limited by basically the function of the body and their existing rules, right? And for me, there was all these corporate media companies that had tried to basically use our sports, lump action sports as a whole together and put skateboarding in that when skateboarding is its own massive industry by itself. And it was just time to for skateboarding to have its own proper competitive series that was ran by skateboarders.
Apparently all the major skateboard companies just did not think you could do it. And then your first press release that comes out, you're announcing the exclusive signings of the top 10 biggest skateboarders in the world. Explain the process that was involved with, actually making those deals happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy, right? It's like, who really lost their mind was like the ESPNs and the Mountain Dews and the NBCs were like, what? Right? Because it's like, how could he go and do this, right? But the reality was there was no loyalty from the best in the world to any of those other contests. They didn't care about him. Half the guys didn't even go. So a lot of the guys that I was even signing exclusively to the league were the superstars that would never even think about going to an X Games or a Mountain Dew contest, right? So that allowed, that basically authenticated what I was doing, that allowed me to go and get my ESPN deal, that allowed me to close these big sponsorship deals to basically underwrite the company in the first year.
What's been the biggest challenge so far?
Man, I think every aspect about it has been an incredible challenge, but it's the idea of creating a sports entertainment property that can scale and draw in a crossover audience while maintaining the authenticity for your core audience, right? It's a fine line on a lot of different aspects of how you do it. So it's that, and the reality of it is how I created the business model and what I thought it was the first year I did it compared to what it is today couldn't be light years from each other, and that is relentless adaptation and changing the thought process and way of even understanding what it is you're doing and why over the last couple of years too, which has been incredibly difficult.
Well, and I was speaking to your Street League Skateboarding president, Brian Atlas, and he was telling me that the goal is to create a global platform to engage audiences year-round through your content. And you want to create a league like, the UFC or the NFL or Major League Baseball. I know you recently gave up some equity in the company and taking on some venture capital dollars. How do you think that'll help?
I think what we were also lacking is that eye of like really, really high level experienced business partners, right? And the guys at Causeway Partners, they are partners in the Boston Celtics and the San Francisco 49ers. So their level of guidance and capital to kind of help us evolve and go to the next level is something that we really needed. I think we needed to kind of, we're still like mom and pop shop, and it's time for us to turn it into a true sports property.
I know you're close with UFC president Dana White. Mm-hmm. What have you learned from him?
I think from not only him and Lorenzo, who is partners in, the CEO of the UFC, countless, nonstop, any and everything that they do. They will give me access to they'll show me like sponsorship and what they're getting paid. They'll talk to me about how they're doing their brands, their television deals, how they're expanding their media and what's working and what's not working. It's like the level of insight that they share with me on as I'm trying to build Street League is unprecedented.
10 years from now, where do you want Street League Skateboarding to be?
I think it's exactly what we believe it will be, right? It will be a global platform for skateboarding and with a complete ecosystem of brands and media and live events and Little League that goes to amateur series, that goes to semi-pro, that leads to Street League and leads to the championship, right? It will be the premier global skateboarding platform, period.
For more clips from this interview, visit GrahamBensinger.com.